Hey, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are viewing or listening to the Stiletto Talks Podcast. We welcome you, of course, where we always are committed to creating collaborative safe spaces for women of color. Today, I am very excited to interview someone who I met over social media during the pandemic, and we have remained connected. And so, although our schedules don't always intertwine, I have been able to snag her on a Sunday, honey. Yes, yes, yes. Snag the self-care coach herself. Um, this is going to be a great segment because you're talking about someone who believes in holistic healthcare. Many of us are not, we've heard of the overview of it, heard of it, but we may not be truly aware of what that looks like when you're talking about holistic approaches to self-care. We all know about getting prescriptions. We all know about going to said pharmaceuticals. We all know about ordering medicine online and this, that, and the other. And we're all aware of the latest and greatest um, medications to help us lose weight, this, that, and the other. But we still have this superwoman syndrome. We still have this need to push without taking care of self. And I can say that our guests, although we rarely see each other in person throughout the year, but we do throughout the year, she's going to inbox me to tell me to take care of myself. If that's nothing, and that means so much, if it's nothing else. So I am going to introduce to you the one and only self-care coach, self-care sister herself, Kurnita Wallace. Kurnita, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So I want you to share with our audience some things about you. Where are you from and the industry you're in?
All right. So I'm originally from Ohio. So I was born in California, but raised in Ohio. And so I've been in Arizona for the last almost 10 years, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And people always say, well, what made you move here? And I'm like, the weather. Plain and simple. That was the first thing. It was the weather.
For
I was
real.
tired. Yeah, I was tired of the snow. Our summers start getting shorter and our winters start getting longer. And I was like, nah. It's time to go. I need to be somewhere where it's summer all year round. And Arizona is actually the mecca for all the day spas. So being an esthetician, I was like, oh yeah, this is the pilgrimage for me. This where I need. This the holy land for me. This where I need to be.
And what she's sharing about everyone, we have more spas per capita than anywhere else in the United States. So Arizona is ground zero for all things self-care as far as aesthetics, beauty, we spas, we got it.
Yes, yes. And we always joke in our industry, that's the wild, wild west. Like they let us do whatever we want to out here. So in Ohio, you had to be a nurse or a doctor to do laser. But out here, anybody can do it. Just take the class. And so I was like, yes. So I came with the intent to level up my career choice. Because after being an esthetician, it was like, well, shoot, laser is the next best thing. And so I had already booked my class before I even moved out here.
Wow. So talk to us a little bit about lasers, because when people think about lasers, they think about sometimes Star Trek or space or zapping and this, that, and the other. And for some, it can be intimidating. Also, we have heard in past that those of us with a little more melanin in our skin are not always candidates for laser hair removal, any type of lasers on our skin. So obviously, that is your industry. So we're going to let the experts speak, not salon talk, not just blog talk, maybe with unverified sources. We're talking about a certified person in laser. And I cannot, my facial expression, I'm saying this with all realness. We must get better at being informed, and not just thinking that, oh, we can't do something or we're not a candidate for it. So share with us a little bit, Kurnita, about laser treatments and what that entails and the impact on our skin.
Yes, so that is the biggest hurdle for me is education. I always tell people when they come for a consult, I'm like, you cannot listen to your sister, mother, auntie twice removed about what their experience was, what they done heard, what the latest skin influencer or influencer done told you. I'm like, get a consult with an actual person. I was like, y'all got to stop looking at, I mean, although we do need to see them, but you can't be obsessed with all these videos on YouTube and TikTok of somebody that's got burned and whatnot. It happens because they didn't go to the right person, because they didn't do their research, because
Right.
they were like, I want it, and they wasn't listening. They weren't listening to the professional. So I spend the bulk of my time trying to educate people to get the information. We can get it. At one point in time, we could not. And that's why, you see a lot of the horror stories and whatnot. But in 2024, we can get the things. We can get the things, we can get the desired skin results that you want, but you got to work with the professional. You got to listen to them. And a lot of our people, they don't listen. So yes, we can get the lasers, we can get the laser hair removal, we can get the chemical peels and the different things, but it has to be the correct one for your skin type. Just because you see, the Kardashians or whoever getting it, we can't always get that. But we do have something that we can get. And that's the thing, is finding someone who is reputable and knowledgeable about your skin type and what it is. I am a very peaceful person. However, I find myself in a lot of Facebook fights, social media sagas with people. I am one of those people, yes, I absolutely can just keep scrolling. However, until somebody out there giving some incorrect information, then I got to pop in and let them know. And there ensues the fight.
I certainly understand that as someone who was behind the chair for 30 years in the beauty industry, it can certainly get to be cumbersome and, quite frankly, annoying when you see our YouTube University graduates speaking on things that they are not privy to, that they don't have access to. Many of us invest a lot of time and moolah, money, l'argent, for those of us from Louisiana, a lot of money when it comes to investing our time and our resources in becoming educated about. You're talking about the ability to touch someone's skin. You're talking about the ability to impact their appearance. So it would be better to speak with someone who has knowledge, who has taken those classes, who has asked those questions, who has received information from industry experts, especially when it comes to skincare. Kurnita, you mentioned that there's a lot of misinformation. And so education is key. And that starts with that consultation. So walk us through what it's like when we come in. I'm coming in for the first time, or anybody never been to you. Walk us through what that consultation process looks like, because I think some people get really nervous when it comes to these consultations.
Yes, they do. And 9 times out of 10, it is not as bad as they think. Because again, they didn't listen to their sister, mother, auntie twice removed, and they didn't give them their horror story or whatever. So when you come in for a consult, I'm asking deep questions. I need to know what your lifestyle is, because so you come to me and you say, I want laser hair removal. First question I'm going to ask, do you have any hormonal issues? Because I need to know, well, why you want it. It can be just cosmetic, but it can be hormonal. I mean, I have a lot of clients that suffer with PCOS. It's definitely hormonal. So then we got to dig deeper, with that. I need to know if you have any seizure disorders, because if you have epilepsy, you absolutely cannot get laser, because the flash of the laser can bring on a seizure. And a lot of people, they don't realize that. I need to know that you have the correct hair color. So people who have a white, gray, or super blonde hair are not candidates, because the laser needs to pick up pigment and that hair doesn't have any pigment. So it's almost like, a lot of people are like, well, I might as well be at the doctor. It kind of is. It kind of is. Because I got to be all in your business, because I can definitely have the potential to harm you. And I'm not trying to lose my license over questions that I didn't ask, And so I tell people, you don't ever want to lie to your doctor, your lawyer, your esthetician. Gotta tell us the truth so that we can treat you properly. So my consults are very extensive. And I used to would just, I didn't charge for consults before, but then it would turn into people in my inbox and we going page for page for page over all these questions. And it got to be a lot. And I'm like, no, you got to pay for this consult because don't nobody ask more questions than somebody who ain't about to buy nothing.
And that's a fact.
And I'll get people that will circle back around from like, because Messenger, it keep all the messages and they'll inbox me and I'll be like, they contacted me 2 years ago asking me the same exact question that I answered above. Like I can see when you talked to me in 2021, you asked me the same questions and you just now circling back to get the services done.
And just know her link is going to be on our social media pages as well as our YouTube. So that means that if you would like to get with Kurnita, who is, which she mentioned what I love, is licensed professional, licensed.
For 20 years. 20 years.
20 years.
20 years as an esthetician and 10 as a laser tech. And I teach it. Wow. I teach aesthetics. I'm an instructor.
Okay, so in other words, her resume, we didn't had a lot of stuff about resume and what our Black job is and things like that. Well, we have someone who has, again, paid the cost to be the boss. So it's, again, recommended if you are interested in laser treatments, aesthetic treatments. It's really important to be with someone that's knowledgeable. And so you mentioned that we have a lot of mistrust from misinformation, which can be dangerous, and not sharing information that we need to, and understanding that you're a licensed professional. So while they may have went to someone that's not licensed before and they didn't ask them all of those questions, when they have a professional experience, they can expect those type of questions, or that needs to be a red flag, correct?
Absolutely. I'm gonna be all in your business. You know what I'm saying? So I can give you the best results and the best service, possible. Because the end result, you coming to me for, you have a pain point, you got acne, you got unwanted hair, So my job is to get you to be happy, to the place of that's not a pain point for you. That people always say, what is it that you do? And I'm like, I help people look on the outside the way they feel on the inside, which is beautiful. And even when I got into it, it seemed like it was kind of shallow because it's cosmetics, it's aesthetics. It means the business of how you look. However, in my 20-year career in aesthetics, it's gotten more. It's gotten a bit deeper. I had one laser client come in. She had suffered a stroke and was paralyzed on her left side, and she wanted laser hair removal for her underarms. So to take the burden off of her caregiver, that's something they wouldn't have to do. They wouldn't have to shave her underarms,
Wow.
And that right there was like, I'm doing some meaningful work. It's not just all cosmetic. It's just not always, looking on the inside. That was like a thing. She was already understood that the person, had to take care of her. And, of course, she felt a type of way about that, but she at least wanted to make it easier on that person.
That is just so awesome that you continue to find new ways to be inspired. And that brings us to the next question, the benefits of it all. So we make the decision, we're a candidate for laser hair removal. We're a candidate for certain aesthetic treatments, like you mentioned, such as chemical peels and other things to improve our skin and overall appearance. Talk to us a little bit about the benefits of having an esthetician versus us just YouTube University and doing it at home and playing in mud masks and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I tell people, I'm like, look, we didn't know what we didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, we all had our St. Ives scrub, our Noxzema, our Sea Breeze. You couldn't tell us nothing. But when you get to a point and then you learn, better, then you got to start to do better. So of course, I'm always going to suggest to you some professional product lines. Everybody needs a basic skincare routine. And, they're going to ask me, well, why can't I just use my Dove soap? You can, but you know what I'm saying? Is that good for you?
Will that improve that benefit? Are you going to have the maximum benefit?
Exactly. So coming to a professional, we can look at your skin. We're not just giving you a one size fits all type of thing. Again, back to my Facebook fights. When people, when somebody might say, well, I'm suffering from, I got all these acne breakouts. What should I use? And everybody hopping in the comment section and they saying what they use and what they should do. And I always start with, as a licensed professional, I'm going to suggest you come in and get an in-person consult, because you just telling me on Facebook, I can't see your skin. I need to know why you breaking out. Are you at home having a trash diet? You know what I'm saying? Are you doing too much to your face? Are you over exfoliating with that St. Ides scrub, or, some homemade stuff? You at home rubbing turmeric on your face and because that's the latest YouTube thing that's then came out, and TikTok then told you to do it. So I got to ask those questions. And I know they be, they probably be putting the eye roll emoji on me, but I'm like, it is what it is. People are like, well, I use, and I'm not a person to always name drop, but just so they can understand, when they're like, well, I use CeraVe because my dermatologist, recommended it. I was like, those dermatologists recommend it because they get a kickback from it. There's nothing wrong with it per se. It's not going to harm your skin, but it's not going to help you. And so
Wow.
when you
Yeah.
see a lot of those things like Neutrogena, things like that, yeah, they're nice, but if you're trying to get rid of hormonal acne, it's not about to help you. So you need a professional skincare line, because a professional skincare line is going to either be medical grade or a little bit below medical grade, and it's going to do more than the stuff that you're getting over the counter.
That's
And
what I
that's
love
why,
that you said, providing that difference, that
yeah.
the things that you're recommending are above what we go and have underneath everybody has the beauty product graveyard underneath their cabinet, underneath the sink, right? In the cabinet. So you're talking about things that are maybe medical grade or just a little bit below, which is going to give you an improved benefit over maybe some of the things that you have. And I can kind of speak to that. I was a PCOS person before they removed all of the things that caused me to have said issues. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I had to take advantage of was laser hair removal. And it was just a great benefit for me because I got tired of looking like Blackbeard. Some people don't care, they're proud of it. But for me, being in the beauty industry at the time, I did not want to have a full Teddy Pendergrass walking across nowhere, and because I could, it could literally connect, so I don't
Mhm.
have that issue anymore. But when I was like, oh, this not a patch of hair, it's connecting,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
You're like, I got a whole
And
chin
so,
strap going on.
yeah, and I was like, I got a whole Teddy P, like this not it. And you really have to turn off the light, right? So I like it just wasn't for me. Like you said, it didn't help me feel good on the inside because I wasn't confident about how I would look on the outside. So I love the fact
Mhm.
that you brought that up. And you talked a lot about is your diet trash? And I noticed that you post a lot about vitamins, about water, about the intake of certain fruits and vegetables, which is rare for an esthetician because, like you said, most people just want to talk about product so they can get those kickbacks or they're selling it in their respective places of business. So tell us a little bit about what got you started with talking about what you're putting on the inside of your body, reflecting how your skin may be.
Yeah, so when people will come in, you filling out your intake form, we going over the things as to, what is your pain point, and you're like, all right, I'm having acne or whatever. We got to get to the bottom of why you're having it. Like, you don't just wake up and have acne. It's a root cause to it. And most of the things, diseases and illnesses that we deal with is what we eat or what we don't eat. What we putting in our body, what we don't put in our body, so even though you might have come to me for just a, you want your feel good facial, it's a little bit more to that. I need to know, what are you doing at home? What are you putting in your body? Because that affects it. When they will say you are what you eat, that's more than just a slogan. You really are. You know what I'm saying? If you eating a whole bunch of
Grandma
sugar,
was
because
right.
for sure, for sure. And so we got to go over that. I need to ask you, what's going on? How much water are you drinking? Because a lot of people, they'll say, well, what are like your top, things that I should have in my skincare regimen? And they are shocked when I tell them water and sunblock. You would be surprised how much water affects your skin. I'm like, we 70% water. Our skin is the largest organ in our body. So you got to keep up with that. It was a few years back. So a lady had done, and you can probably find it on YouTube. She had done a little experiment, and she drank a gallon of water every day for 30 days. And you can see the progression of how her skin improved, how it plumped up. Because if your skin is dry, you get into fine lines and wrinkles. You putting on all that expensive makeup, and it's settling into them fine lines and wrinkles, making you look older, drying your skin out even more. So we have to go over all of that. And when people are educated, then they're trusting you. You know, a lot of people, you know, if you see me like now, I don't have any makeup on. If you see me with makeup on, it's because I came from a photo shoot or it got to be a super special occasion. Because if I always have on makeup, you won't think that I can give you really good skin. You're gonna be like, what's she hiding? You know, and so now we got all these makeup artists out here, and hats off to them because they be having them faces beat to the gods. I was like, this
Baby, borderline sorcery, honey. I
I
mean,
said
they
witchcraft.
are
Yeah,
doing
yes,
they are doing their
girl.
thing. I mean, just so
Yes.
talented.
And I'd be just so amazed, but I'm like, I need y'all to tell them people they got to get their skin together up underneath all that. So, because makeup is supposed to be an enhancement. And if you always have it on, you know, you get self-conscious. And so then when you don't have it on, you're not liking what you see. And that's why we got all these filters. I was like, when you see me taking pictures on social media, no filter, unless it was
No
somebody
filter.
else's. And I'd be asking people, I'm like, is there a filter on here? Because I'm like,
Yes,
this
you
is
do.
my
You
this is
asked
my
me. Yes, you
yeah, I
do.
was like, this is my business card. You know what I'm saying? So you need to know that I can make your skin look that way. You know, if I'm always hiding it, you know, because my good friend Paula told me your video got to match your audio. Girl. So just a side note, we were at a conference and Paula was one of the speakers and she told us that and she silenced the whole room with that. And I have never forgot that. And so she doesn't even know that she helped me on my part of my self-care journey. Because you were asking, you know, like how did I get into a lot of that? It was just, you know, I mean, I am blessed that I do have really good genes. However, um, my diet had to change. You know, I was, I don't have any symptoms. I wasn't diabetic or anything like that, but I was feeling old. Like my body was hurting, my body was aching. Um, I live on the third floor of an apartment, and when I got to the top, girl, I was out of breath. Where the oxygen mask? Like, what is going on? My body was just aching. And I was like, I don't look old, but I feel old. And I was like, I don't like this. I was like, I can't chase my grand boo boos around. I still got a teenager. I got to see what he doing. So I need to
Right.
get myself together. And so I became a vegetarian. Now my daughter, my son-in-law, they had already been vegetarians, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I'm one of the people I got to do a cold turkey, or I'm just not gonna do it. And so that's how I got on that journey. And that also, you know, because if you're putting good stuff in your body, it's going to come out with your skin. You're putting bad stuff, when you see the acne and things like that, it's essentially your skin is pooping. It don't got nowhere else to go. And this is where it got to come out at. And so that's what, you know, really got me on that journey. You know, when I do my ingredient of the day, when I'm talking about vitamins and things like that, you know, because then you go in that rabbit hole of researching, you know, what's going to help this, that, and the third. And so that's how I went on that journey.
That is
It's
awesome. And I love the fact that you constantly post things because you don't think about it. But you just mentioned something that you know everybody is on these girls' trips and we running all over the world. And out here in this sun, with our largest organ, which is our skin, drinking and sunbathing and living it up. And you have forgotten that sunscreen, but you did not forget to take those selfies. So, talk to us a little bit about our skin as it relates to wearing sunscreen because it probably within the last, I would say, even 7 to 10 years, where we've even started to see more representation of and awareness in our community regarding sunscreen. And we had gone all this time with that's not for us. But then we found out that it is for us and we need a higher SPF than people may think. So talk to us a little bit about what's the best practice, especially as we continue to go on these girl trips, and we are sunbathing and just going to work. And especially out here in Arizona, it is hot. We have 113-degree weather, 117-degree weather back to back, and you're outside with the kiddos, or you're going walking, you're going to work, you're driving in your car, you're still being exposed to the sun. So what do we need to do to protect our skin? Because we also have some of the highest new rates of skin cancer. And so that brings on the issue of the protection part. And this is where your expert comes in handy. And that's why we have Kurnita here today. So tell us a little bit about that and what we can do to prevent and self-care in the form of sunscreen, because you're just not thinking about it. It's not just for fair skin folks. It's for everybody. So talk to us a little bit about that.
I tell my people, black don't crack, but it will burn. Put that sunblock on. So with that being said, because, we got the people out here, we're doing our research. Yes, as, people of color and our rich melanin, and they're like, you need the sun, you need the vitamin D. Yes, we do. We do need that, but we do also need sunblock. And there's a caveat to that. You need to have at least 30 to 45 minutes a day of unprotected sun rays on the skin. That's going to help keep your vitamin D levels up. But beyond that, you need to put your sunblock on, and you have to reapply it every 2 hours. Because a lot of people, especially, African American or people of color, we are vitamin D deficient. And vitamin D, they call it vitamin D, but it's really a hormone. And we get it from the sun. And when you are vitamin D deficient, depression sets in, fatigue, all kind of other health issues start to arise. So we do need that. Yes, we do. And I say, it might not be popular, but like when it was, when we had that, the little pandemic, and they were like, stay inside, don't go out, blah, blah, blah. That was the worst thing we could have did, because it was depleting your immune system. The sun helps increase your immune system. You need that sun on your skin. But at some point in time, you do need to protect it. Again, 30 to 45 minutes unprotected. After that, put the sunblock on, reapply it every 2 hours. Because yes, it's a rarity, but yes, African-American people of color, they can get skin cancer. Like I say, it's rare, but we can get it. So you do need that. So when you're looking for your SPF, because there are two types of SPF, there's chemical and then there's physical. When a chemical one, when you look at the ingredients, it got a whole long list of ingredients, stuff you can't even pronounce. That's chemical. And what that means is once you put it on your skin, it's not going to kick in for 30 minutes. Then when it does kick in, the sun rays are going to hit your skin, break those chemicals down. They're going to get into your bloodstream. And that's when you see people they're like, I put on my sunblock, but then they got like horrible burns, not just a regular sunburn, but like 2nd, 3rd degree burns because it was a chemical sunblock. Now your physical
sunblock. And I've noticed a lot of men complaining about that, those with bald heads. Yep. And you've seen a couple of them online, like, what happened to me? I was just outside, at the beach and didn't have any protection on their scalp, and it's still skin because you have cleaned it up. It's exactly bald. And then they come back with these big sores and bumps and irritation from the sun. So I like the fact that you talked about reapply and reapply, and that the reason why it may not be working is not because it's not for us, but the chemicals are breaking down and going into our bloodstream. So therefore, if it's broken down, then it's not protecting.
Exactly. So that's why you need your mineral sunscreen or a physical sunscreen. And once you apply that, it literally makes your skin a mirror. So then when the rays hit it, it's just bouncing right back off. And so you got to look at your ingredients. Reading the labels is not only just for our food labels, but it's for the product labels also. And so, I do recommend, particular brands, to my clients. So yes, for everybody out there, yes, Black people, we still need the sunblock. Yes, we still need to get sun rays on our skin to recharge the body, but again, it's that caveat. And so another thing is people always ask, what do the numbers mean? So the numbers are how much protection, not necessarily how many minutes, but the level of protection that you have. And so people were under the misconception that the higher the SPF number, the more protection you had. So I tell, at bare minimum, you need at least 40. You need an SPF of 40. And the difference between an SPF of 40 and 100 is literally this much protection. So when they like, I got an SPF of 150, that's a gimmick just to get you to buy that. It don't even matter. As long as you got at least 40 on, you good. And reapply it every 2 hours.
So we've been hoodwinked again.
It's marketing magic. It's marketing magic. And that's the thing that you have to be aware of. There are a lot of things, it'll say will shrink the appearance of pore size. And so you got to listen to that. It's the appearance of it. Now, like after you get all the gunk and things out, your pores might shrink a little bit, because having all the dirt and grime kind of stretches them a little bit. And you see people have like the pop marks and things like that. But after you clean it out, it'll shrink a little bit. But there's no way our pores could possibly shrink completely, because if they did, they would shrink. Our skin wouldn't breathe and they'd fall off and die. We wouldn't have no skin. So it's those little marketing magic things that you got to really listen to and be aware of. And again, that's where the education kicks in at. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to know what it is that you need. And again, that's why you go to a professional.
Yes, the professional.
And let me preference that all professionals are not created equal. So, and reason I say that, so I'm from Ohio. So I had my aesthetic license and my instructor license before I came to Arizona. In Ohio, for every license that you hold, you had to do 8 hours of continuing education, where Arizona don't require that. So once they get their license, if they are lazy and don't want to go to other, workshops and continue on their education and know, what's the latest and greatest thing out there, then they just stagnate. I'm a firm believer, get that education. I just took a certification for appeal class last week. Like, you gotta really keep up on that. So you might run into a lazy esthetician. They like, I got my license, this is all I'm doing, but you have to continue that on. For me, I'm not huge on like TikTok and things like that, but I'm on the social media because guaranteed my client is going to ask me about this latest fad, this latest trend, and again, I need to be up on that, because if I'm about to treat you, if I'm gonna put a laser on you, and I'm asking you, well, hey, do you use any retinols or Retin-A? And they're like, no. But then I'm like, is you at home rubbing yams on your face and sweet potatoes? And they like, well, yeah. Well, that's the same thing. I had a client, Middle Eastern woman. Her skin was flawless, gorgeous. She just wanted a feel good facial. So it wasn't no product that I was going to be able to sell this woman, because she didn't need anything. And you know what she washed her face with every day? Milk. Every day. She washed her face with milk. And why was I not concerned? First of all, because her face card was not declining. And milk is a lactic acid. It's the same chemical peel I'm going to do on you. But people don't realize that. It's just going to give you the same result. Same result. And so that's why I'm asking the diet questions: what you eating, what you not eating, things like that. The hormones. And sometimes I do get clients, and again, Facebook fights, when I tell people, a lot of it, again, it's that diet. You got to give up the dairy and the meat. You are blessed to be, done with your PCOS, battle. But some of the women out there, I'm like, if you cut out the dairy and the meat, it's going to go away. I'm going to laser you and you're going to be golden. But some people are like, I'm absolutely not going to do that. And I'm like, that's your choice. I'm just here to give you the information. You can keep paying me as much as you want to. But I'm trying.
So that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you the out. Like, we can be done with this. You know what I'm saying? And I'll talk a little bit later about that, because I do have a nonprofit that's going to assist them with that. But yeah, the information, giving the people the correct information.
I love the fact that you are willing to educate them and go against some of the misconceptions that's out there. Because while you saying Facebook fights, it's really just clarifying. I call it clarifying, but it's really, you do find yourself really going back and forth sometimes with people that have no experience other than the fact it might have worked for you, but that may not work for everyone. Now, I do want to talk about something really quickly. How can we positively impact your business? Because sometimes for estheticians of color, people think that the only people that can provide aesthetic services are people not of color. So, talk to me about how the best that we can support you and your business, and then we'll have you talk about your nonprofit.
Coming in and getting services, getting services. I do have a business partner, and we have created a Black-owned Korean skincare line. Now, I will tell you, as much as we, talk about Black girl magic and all of that, the Koreans have perfected skincare. I can't even lie. They have perfected it. And so we have a medical grade skincare line. That we are really proud of. We did the research, all the background work, and just coming and getting services, even getting information, because everybody don't need everything. Like everybody don't need laser hair removal, but you can tell a friend, word of mouth is huge. It don't cost nothing to share, when I post what my specials and things are, just tell a friend to tell a friend.
I love that. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Being consistent about patronizing a business. And if you can't, or maybe you already you're established somewhere, you like where you are, still take the time to share that post, especially to help increase business and longevity, and to tell people also about the products, because you make money in more than one way besides just hair removal. You are a full-blown esthetician, so you do pretty much everything under the sun under that umbrella of aesthetics. Now,
Yeah.
your nonprofit, share with us a little bit about that, because this sounds interesting.
So my nonprofit, it's still in the works. It is called My Reflection Foundation AZ, and so the communities that I will be serving are women who have PCOS, male or female that has HS, which is hidradenitis suppurativa. That's where you get those painful boils up under the underarms. And people of the LGBTQ plus community who want to look more like themselves. I'll be able to provide free laser services, nutritional services, and mental health services. Because I know you're like, well, how do all those things connect? Well, like you say, when you're a woman, you got PCOS, your confidence is taking a hit, because you self-conscious about the unwanted hair and all of that. So you might need to talk to a mental health professional to be able to talk those feelings out, and a nutritionist, so that they can, give you the proper things. Again, if you change your diet, it'll go away, the symptoms that you're dealing with. And so I want to be a hub, a one-stop shop to be able to get that. Like, so if you complete my program, you'll get those laser services for free. All your services will be free, but that got to be the dangle. You got to get the mental health and all of the other things, because even people who are in the LGBT community always say, I'm not of the community, I'm an ally of the community. And being an esthetician, I see a lot of that. And so if they are going to go have gender reaffirming surgeries and things, they have to complete like 18 months of therapy, and they have to live as the gender that they want to be. And so you definitely need those services. And so I will be able to provide all of that to them.
That is awesome. Now, how do we stay in touch with you, Kurnita? Because you've given us such a wealth of information. I'm a fan, always a fan, and we want to make sure that we continue to support you. The Stiletto Talks community wants to do that. We're really big on making sure that we all are aware of your collaborative space, what you do, and continue to support you as another sister in the business industry. So how do we support you? Where can we find you?
So you can find me on Instagram. It's Kurnita _ the self-care sister with an A. And I guess maybe you can put the link in the chat because I have two locations. I have one in Scottsdale and I have one in North Phoenix. So depending on which one is closer and what service you need.
We'll make sure you send it to me, and I'll make sure we have it on the YouTube and the social media pages, because we want to make sure that everybody knows how to get in touch with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we are excited. We want to always be supportive of you. Thank you so much for joining me today, because you're hard to get in touch with too, because you are always in these streets. I will say she is one of the biggest community supporters in Phoenix. I don't know how she finds time to do it all and be in her salon, be an educator. I just saw that you recently attended a school and supported them as well. First of all, thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you for seeing the need to move with the flow and constantly diversify your portfolio as far as business and nonprofit. We see you. We are proud of you. And thank you for sharing the gift of self-care, because often for women of color, we struggle to take care of ourselves, not just emotionally, or in trying to do too much, but we just feel like we aren't a candidate to go get a massage. We're not a candidate to go just get a simple facial. We're not a candidate for a laser hair removal. We're not a candidate just to go have a spa day. So thank you for challenging us. Like you call it Facebook fights, but challenging us to be educated, be aware, being an advocate for self-care. You are indeed the self-care sister, and we certainly appreciate you for everything that you do. Everyone, if you are not subscribed to the Stiletto Talks podcast, please do so. We are everywhere, from Pandora to iTunes. We're everywhere. And then make sure you subscribe to our website at thestilettotalks.com. And of course, our YouTube channel, which is the Stiletto Talks. So thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Kurnita, so much for, again, everything that you do. And yes, I will be on the scene this year, because I am hooked. I am hooked. This is a great selling point even for me. And that's one of the things that I'm committed to doing for myself going forward, especially with so many deaths in my family. You and I talked about that before we started recording. Self-care is just essential, because life is fleeting. And I think that it helps with our longevity and just our journey here on this earth by taking better care of ourselves. So thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.